Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Thanksgiving Eve here right now. It's 5:45. It feels like it's 9 o'clock at night with it being dark at this time. But anyway, by the time you're seeing this, it will be Thanksgiving. So hope everything's going well. Obviously, the holidays are a little bit different this year with everything, but hopefully you're still finding a way to make it fun and feel a little bit like normal. So anyway, I wanted to take a little opportunity to give you an update. It's been a while on actually a pause from just the regular videos, or I say regular, but some of that means random videos like different cars that have come in. I kind of consider two different forms of content that I film or that I share with you, and that is kind of what I have for my regular viewers. So that would be like things going on around the shop, projects that have been going on forever. So really any of the project videos, the series, like the motorized bike and the pedal board I did a little bit on, and the moped and things like that, shop truck, tractor, that's all the regular stuff. And then the random things that you see every now and then are Honda Odyssey, this or that, or Ford F-150, this or that. So there's two different things, but regardless, I wanted to pause from everything, and oh, you can see my right back there. There I am. Pause from that and give you an update on where all the projects are. So basically, we'll just take a look around the shop because, like I said, it is dark outside, and so anything that's out there is not going to show up well on the video. But I'll get some more light here, and we'll take a look around. I just wanted to kind of catch up on projects that you haven't seen in a while, or you're wondering kind of what the deal is, why I have stopped with one project without finishing it and started with another one, and you're wanting to follow just one thing progress-wise without all these interruptions. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll walk around, and I'll try and catch you up the best I can. So I'll just flip you around here. All right, so I just finished a little list here just so I don't leave anything off. We've got our old, our newer, and our newest stuff. So I'm just going to kind of walk around. Basically, starting off, I'll give you my 116 to look at while I talk for just a second. Starting off, I have on here the old stuff. So there were two projects that I started quite a while ago, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll remember, or you've seen in other videos, I had my 1944 Ford 2N tractor, and I did a couple videos on that, hoping to sort of make that a restoration series of getting that running and rebuilt. That is still here. It's sitting outside at the end of the lot here, and I've gotten a lot of attention of people driving by wanting to buy that. And so I haven't decided if I'll come up with the time or put the time and effort and money into restoring that. You know what? I better flip this around because this is going to take just a second. Yeah, so I haven't decided if I'll put the time and money and effort into fixing that, or if I'll start with something that's further along. And because I don't have the time, I guess ideally I'd love to have a tractor like that, or even worse off, that I completely restore and do everything, basically polish every bolt. Actually, speaking of that, I had the vision on that tractor that a lot of times you see them just completely gray, like a dark gray. Everything's painted. Basically, it ran, my understanding is it ran through a assembly line and was just painted after it was assembled. What I thought would be really cool is to do that, basically, but have every bolt on, whether it be the engine or the body or the wheels or chassis or whatever, every bolt be stainless or polished chrome or something. So you've got the tractor like normal, like it should be. If you look up photos or history on what a war era 2N should look like, not what other people have painted them. A lot of them are painted red and cream like the 8Ns, but they're not. Or mine is painted gray, like primer gray and blue, also not correct. But anyway, having it painted correctly, except now you take out every bolt and replace it with a polished chrome looking bolt. So I thought that'd be cool, but realistically I don't have the time to get that done in any reasonable deadline. So what I might end up doing is selling that and using the funds to get an identical tractor as far as model and year, or close to a year, but in much better shape, that is running and has had maybe a 30-year-old restoration or something done to it already, that maybe needs a couple mechanical things that we can knock out quick, but that one needed to be stripped down and painted and had some other issues. Basically needed to be split and rebuilt, and I really don't have the means or time to do that. So that's where that one's at. You probably won't see much of that other than maybe a video of it being loaded on a trailer and sold. So that's the story on that. Another old project that you may have seen a little bit of is the shop truck. So I have a 1968 Dodge C600. If you've never seen one or haven't seen mine, you can just Google it quick and look up what those are. Shop truck that I bought on Craigslist. I don't remember if I go into much depth on this on the 3 or 4 videos in that series, but basically bought it without a bed. It was just frame rails that had been cut short, and the cab, and was not running. So got it running, and then had this great idea that I wanted it to be a flatbed tow truck. And so I was going to get a grain box and fix up the grain box, but not really use the sides because it was going to be a flatbed, and have a giant winch mounted to that, and then have it operate like it would, like a dump bed. And then I'd have these long ramps that could handle a car or truck that would be, 16 feet long, and lower down off of that bed. So it would tip up about halfway, just to give it a nice smooth transition to the ground. And then we would winch up a car and tow it. That was a little bit unrealistic. Not really the aspect of getting it done or the logistics. The ramps thing is maybe a little bit dreamy, but that wouldn't have been too bad. The big hang-up is that to have insurance to properly recover and tow vehicles was going to be way too high. I would have to insure it as a tow truck, which was very high, and then have the protection on, I don't know if it's on my business or on myself, to accommodate being a tow truck. So that was unrealistic because I'm not really a towing company. I would basically just tow my own vehicles or my own customers' vehicles very occasionally when it needs to be done. And the competitive rate locally would be $50 or $60 in town, or maybe 75 to 100 out of town or outskirts to do that. And the winch alone would be, $500, $600, $700. Plus, I think it was about that much monthly for insurance. So it just made no sense. So basically where that truck is at now, actually, literally right now, it's dead because it had bad gas and sucked up all the rust and things, and is in need of, ideally, a sealant inside of the tank, clean out the fuel lines, clean the carburetor again. But it does run. It's very reliable, other than the bad gas thing. The bed is almost done. This last fall, we got the bed operating, so got the 1.5 or I can't remember what it was. It's like 30. I can't remember the dimensions, but it's a classic dimension of a pin where that bed pivots, and I got that cut down and drilled, and got the hydraulics working, and so it does work as a dump bed, and we got the box on it. There's maybe 20 or 30 bolts left to drill out and secure that new treated wood, and then I'll start on restoring the sides. And so I think what it will realistically become is just an occasional runaround truck, and then maybe like a parade vehicle where I'll just paint the sign. You can see kind of my logo there. We'll paint that on the side and just use it for fun. What I wanted it to be was like an old pickup truck that I could run in and run uptown and do all this and that. And realistically, a 2.5 ton truck with a 16-foot bed that kind of has brakes is not that truck. So maybe someday I'll have that truck, but not now. Okay, moving on to newer stuff, and I'll flip you back around because 2 out of the 3 of these items that have been more recently featured on the channel are right next to me, so we'll be able to talk about those up close. And I do want to remind you, it is Thanksgiving after all, so go ahead and pull up a beverage and maybe a plate of leftovers and settle in for the remainder of the video here. So ironically, this is not planned. These 2 are the next 2 that we're going to talk about, parked right next to each other here for the foreseeable winter. We've got the 84 or 86? I can't remember. I want to say 86. Suzuki FA50 moped there. And the, what's that, probably 2010 Huffy Cranbrook. That's the motorized bicycle, obviously. So I'll start with the motorized bicycle. That one we sort of put a cap on with the Finale that came out a couple months ago. And it's basically right where I left it. Running and driving, very reliable, works great, and that's my sort of summer, or nice weather, I should say, spring through fall, run to lunch or work and back or whatever, run to the hardware store. That's that vehicle. So that's my major fuel saver. And what that really taught me was learning a lot about making that kit work on my own. So you guys have obviously followed along with that. If you've been around, that was a very popular series. And I'm going to take basically everything we learned on that, and I have listed under New West stuff the new motorized bike project that I've talked a little bit about, and that will be coming. We're basically going to build this bike, but better and more experienced and with a little bit higher quality components. So this is kind of the driver, and the other one will be more of the show bike, I guess we'll say. So essentially what I'm waiting on there is the frame that I have in mind is not available right now. There's a lot of stuff I imagine due to COVID, that is unavailable manufacturing wise. And so I'm on an email list to be notified when that frame is back in stock, and I imagine I'll make a video basically as soon as I get that. So we'll update you with that when it comes, but it is in the works, and I have not forgotten about the motorized bike fans on the channel. So I'm definitely excited about that. We also have a more recent series. I think is there just one part in this so far? Yeah. But this wasn't intended to be a long deal anyway. This is the FA50 that sat in the shed for quite a while. If you're unfamiliar or missed it, go back and watch that first part and only part so far, with a couple of little tune-up items that we had to go over after pulling this out of the shed after 4 years in the dark. So this also runs, is very reliable and quiet. That's one thing, it's very quiet, which is awesome. After riding that, it's pretty cool to hop on this and feel like you're on an electric motorcycle or moped. So anyway, this one is basically done. I have yet to replace the brakes, planning to do that on a video, replace the tires on a video, and figure out there's a fuel issue that if you've watched part 1, you'll be familiar with that we're going to take care of. So that's exactly where it sits. None of that has been filmed yet, but I'm planning to do that. I don't know if I'll do it over the winter or not. I don't really like to do fuel stuff on summer equipment for 2 reasons over the winter. For one, it's freezing cold, either in the shop or outside while testing, and so getting things set mixture-wise or just kind of figuring out how things are going to run in the snow doesn't really work out then when it comes springtime. And another reason that doesn't work out so well is you put your gas in it to test it, but a lot of this stuff has already been winterized and the gas drained out, and the oil not drained out, but needing to be changed anyway in the spring. So it's better just to kind of do it all in one sweep, I have found, rather than test it, then have to do it all again and in the spring. So that's where that sits. Another thing I have on the newer stuff list, kind of aside from mechanical projects, is the pedal board that I just got done with the help of a friend. That was probably July or August that video came out. There's 2 parts in that series so far. That pedal board is virtually done. So it has come a long way from that last part, and I'll film an update on that. And then I'm also planning to film each individual component that's on that and kind of do an overview. The thing is, a lot of those pedals I don't know very well myself yet, so I don't feel in a position to share how they work and things like that when I don't really understand them yet. But that will be coming as well. Okay, finally, wanted to talk about 4 items, one that we already sort of covered, but 4 items on the newest stuff list. So I'll flip you around one more time and we'll close out the video with that. So we covered, let's take a look at our list mirrored. It's not going to be the right way. We covered the shop truck, we covered the 2N, we covered the, what does that even say? Pedal board, the motorized bike, and the moped. And so on the newest list, I'm going to go ahead and cross out the new motorized bike. We kind of touched on that. That'll be coming. So there's 3 projects that I have kind of on my radar to start new series, but the reason they're on the newest list is they're far enough out that I don't see that happening soon enough. But it's a good thing that they're farther out because that gives us time to finish up the loose ends that we talked about up until now. That way there's not 10 different things running at one time. So on the newest stuff, one thing that I've mentioned in previous videos is I have a chassis, or I don't know what you call it, a mower without an engine, essentially. It's an old Dynamark sitting outside. You've maybe seen it if you've been around for a while, that I would like to build into a racing lawnmower. And so my plan there is that I just really like the look of the body. It's got some cool, like, sort of rounded fenders. It's got a cool hood that's kind of long. Excuse me. It's got glass headlights, which is really pretty cool. And then a neat steering wheel. So just a cool look to it. My idea there is to basically take the body off of the frame, I think. I don't know how in-depth we'll get, but I just want to retain the body, and my biggest idea is to have a horizontal engine at the front of it, maybe in the Harbor Freight like 8 to 13 range. I think they have an 8-horse, which I have seen in store, and it's massive. If you're used to the 212s, it's a huge looking engine. It's just like a monster looking 212. So something like that. I don't think I want to go V-twin for this particular project. It's just too heavy and too expensive. So anyway, want to go with that. It's also got electric start, which is pretty cool. But that's unique to a riding mower, as many of you probably know, because those run with a vertical and then have a also vertical or flat pulley on top of the transaxle, which this one currently has. So my plan is to run probably a belt drive, just because I like belt drives, but run just a long belt from engine way back around like a go-kart axle or something. So that's the main thing that I think is going to be pretty cool. It'll basically be a go-kart with a front engine, so like a front engine go-kart, rear wheel drive with a mower body. So that'll be pretty sweet. The next thing that I've mentioned, I know I've mentioned once and shown you the components for, is the monster snowblower that I would like to build. And what that's going to be is I want to say it's a 38-inch, or might be 40-inch, Ariens riding mower snowblower, and then I've got a rear end off of another rider, and that's got like big, kind of balloony looking tires. And so my plan is to basically mate the two of those and bend up some handlebars and then make an engine mount and just have a real simple homemade snowblower that is totally massive. So I think that'd be pretty cool. So be on the lookout for that. I'm distracted here. I've got a Facebook friend that has sent me 7 messages in the last 20 seconds. And then the final thing that I'm excited about, but this will be, I imagine, way in the future. I might just show it to you guys. I don't think you've seen it yet. But I have a dirt bike. It's 100cc. I don't want to give too much away about it. Leave a little bit of mystery. But this was in the back of my shed right next to the Suzuki. So I saw it when I took the Suzuki out, and that got me all excited about it again. But it's a mid to late 70s 100cc dirt bike, and I'm pretty excited to at least see what we can do with that. I'd love to have it original and running and rideable, but we'll see if parts are available or extremely expensive or kind of how bad of shape it's in. I know the engine's free, so that's a plus. The clutch is stuck because when I push it, no matter if I'm in neutral or not, the engine spins with the tire. So something's not quite right there. But anyway, that's something also in the future that we'll get into. So that is the update for now. Ran a little bit long, but hopefully you don't mind some talking and showing you a few things around here. Oh, I will show you one cool thing before we go, or maybe 2 cool things. Yeah, we'll go with 2 cool things. So I am working on a video. This is not going to be a project, but working on a video for this thing where I've always wanted a rider that has rear exhaust, so like a full exhaust. This is my personal 116 that I mow with, and it's very loud and ratty because it's just got a small muffler on it. So my plan is to bend up an exhaust pipe that runs back and over the axle and has a muffler out the back. So that's something pretty cool. And not to be hung up on riders, but this is something else that's pretty cool. So I was gifted this Ariens, very nice rider that smokes like crazy. And so we've actually got the engine. Can you see that? I'll try and block the light. Got the engine over there torn apart. It's going to get new rings, new seals, new gaskets, and hopefully take care of the oil problem. But anyway, also have a blade here and a customer that needed a mower with a blade. So we'll see if he's interested. If not, I'll just use it for my own purposes and then maybe sell the mower in the spring. But was pretty excited about, I just love a mower with a blade on it. I've always thought that was pretty cool. So got that mounted up. But anyway, that's basically it for the video. Hopefully, again, you had a nice Thanksgiving, or I guess regardless if you're watching this right now or, well, that doesn't make any sense. If you're watching this the day it came out or even later, Thanksgiving has already happened. So looking forward to Christmas at this point. But be on the lookout for all those new projects we talked about. If there's anything I forgot to cover or that you're more curious about, you can let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video.